landowners across the state who locked their gates to mining are now being undermined by a new strategy by the companies. The purchase of prime agricultural land by the coal and coal seam gas industry allows miners access to key parcels of land without the trouble of resistant landowners. In the Southern Highlands, the recent purchase of a large property by Hume Coal slipped through unnoticed by the community because the company used a third party to make the purchase. It's a practice that has angered the locals and made them more determined than ever to stop mining on agricultural land. Sharon O'Neill reports.
About an hour and a half's drive south of Sydney lies the rural hamlet of Sutton Forest. This is rich agricultural land, home to both commercial and hobby farms. But it's also the location of a coal exploration lease, held by the majority Korean-owned company Hume Coal.
Hume Coal essentially is saying that they want to develop an underground coal mine. Phase one is the exploratory phase, and they're talking about putting down 120 exploration wells.
We're going to need about another 100 of these signs, I think.
Peter and Kim Martin are at the forefront of the Southern Highlands Coal Action Group. For the past 12 months, they've been working with their neighbours to stop Hume Coal getting access to their properties.
We've been a very strong group, and we've spent a lot of time rallying all the neighbours and making them feel as though they've got some support, they've got somewhere to go to.
They've come out with a map that shows where the wells are, and they're spread right across the lease. Now, at this point, they're having great difficulty getting onto landholders' properties. By and large, the whole community shut them out.
Carlisle Downs over here.
Neighbour Michael Ball has locked the gate at his property to the miners.
This is an area of great beauty. It's an area that is important as a farming area for many small farmers, and most importantly because of the water that is underneath this, the whole of the Southern Highlands. And that water, first of all, is thousands of years old and irreplaceable. It won't be replaced by a few monsoons. And it's very important to Sydney's potential growth. And it seems to me to be asinine that we should be risking that water resource for a one-off payment to from Korea, the risk of not only our water but also of ruining land for future generations.
But Michael Ball now faces the possibility that the adjoining property he part-owned until last month will be a significant part of any future coal mining activity in the area.
This was handled through a local real estate agent, and by the time it was sold, exchanged, then we became aware that it could be a property associated with the coal mining interests.
While Michael Ball was away overseas, his business partner sold the property to a company named Aurelius Rural.
Aurelius Rural was set up only in September, so it's a brand new company. It was set up by a Sydney law firm, Blake Dawson Waldron. 3 partners were directors of this company, and it's recently purchased a property here in Sutton Forest. Now, it's taken some time for us to discover who's behind Aurelius Rural, and just in the last couple of days, the Koreans and Hume Coal have admitted they were behind that company.
Aurelius Rural paid $8 million for Wongonbra and the adjoining property Carlisle Downs. At just over 1,000 acres, it covers 7% of the Hume Coal lease. What was your reaction when you found out that Aurelius Rural was connected with Hume Coal?
Well, we were horrified, of course, having been and remaining very active opponents of coal mining in arable land.
If Hume Coal had been the purchaser of this property under the name of Hume Coal, would you have sold to them?
No, I certainly would not have done. My partner is a businessman, and I can't speak for him, and I wouldn't want to try.
Presumably, though, if they'd put their name up front, he would have raised with you who it was.
He would have certainly waited till he talked to me or whatever, yes. But we never got the chance to even discuss that subject.
No one from Hume Coal was available to be interviewed, but in a statement, Chief Operating Officer Peter Doyle said,
The purchase was made through a third party, Aurelius Rural, to ensure the privacy of all parties and commercial arrangements were maintained. This is not an uncommon practice, particularly in our authorisation area, with 1 in 6 properties owned by companies or trust structures. The directors of the company which formerly owned Wongombra had ample opportunity to make inquiries about the company purchasing their property during the sale process and to raise any concerns before the sale completed.
It was gut-wrenching, absolutely, yes. Don't know what else to say. Now we're trying to do what we can to prevent mining occurring.
The mining industry is known for using community divide and conquer tactics, buying properties, if you like, in the depth of night, trying to obscure their activities, not being transparent with the community. It's mining 101. It's how miners have behaved for years and years, particularly now when essentially the law's on their side.
Not far from Wongombra is the property Pleasant View. It's 125 acres and it's been on the market since the start of the year.
It's really beautiful. It's been in my family for a really long period of time and we love it.
Last month, property owner Deborah Van Breda was approached with an offer.
I was approached by an agent and said they had an interested buyer for the property. It was getting up to the price that we were kind of interested in and we had it on the market for. I asked who the buyer was going to be. Could you tell me a bit more about them? And so he did.
What did he say?
He said it was a family in Sydney interested in looking at purchasing the property. That's all he would start to say, to tell me to start off with. And I said, can you tell me a little bit more about the family? Why do they want this particular property? He said, they wanted access to the highway, to the Hume Highway.
Despite her desire to sell, Deborah Van Breda was suspicious. The agent was pushing for a quick sale, but she wanted to know more about the buyer. Did he tell you the name of the company?
Aurelius Company.
And Aurelius was the family company from Sydney?
Yes.
And that's what you specifically recollect him saying?
Yes.
But Aurelius was not a family in Sydney, and after checking with Peter and Kim Martin, who expressed their concerns about the company, Deborah Van Breda confronted the agent.
I said, I think it's connected with the mining company. Can you help me with that? Because I will not sell it to the mining company. And he said, yes, I think it is.
A spokesman for Hume Coal denied that a representative from Aurelius Rural or Hume Coal had made an offer or entered into negotiations on Pleasant View. 730 contacted the agent involved, who confirmed he had approached Deborah Van Breda with an offer from a company named Aurelius Proprietary Limited. Hume Coal denies that this company is in any way connected to Aurelius Rural.
I actually don't believe these companies show any sense of corporate morality whatsoever. And it's a criticism of the whole system. They believe they operate in the best interests of their shareholders, but companies should be held to account for the morality of their actions.
Hume Coal's successful purchase of Wongombra has raised the level of concern across the Southern Highlands.
It's just soul-destroying to see this beautiful land, and it truly is beautiful land, that can go under with coal mining. Short-term gain, monetary gains for government, huge monetary gain for Korea in our case. This is Korean miners, and it'll be a huge monetary gain for them. But not much comes back to Australia from that, not much at all.
At the end of the day, from where I sit, I'm seeing more and more people becoming very concerned about this sort of activity in the Shire. And we're having rallies, and our council have moved a number of motions saying that we're until there's conclusive evidence that it's not going to impact on our agricultural land or our groundwater, we don't support it at all. So we're asking that they go away, that it be prohibited.
The community is now hoping that the state government will live up to its promises made in opposition to protect prime agricultural land and water sources from any future mining.
And there's communities being absolutely hammered by mining companies, not only here but up in the Liverpool Plains and in Broke and, Bylong Valley and down in the Illawarra and way up north. Because the government's sitting back saying, look, we're working through this problem, but we don't have any solutions, and we won't put a moratorium on this activity until we get all this sorted out. Well, there's got to come a time when the bell has to ring and they have to say enough's enough.